would I work with you again? Yes. But I would like to work with you again in a completely different way than what we did.
Seeing how there has been so much upheaval at our former network, what do you make of the fact that, there seems, between me, you, Carrie, Dan, I mean, there seems to be, we were all sort of Mohicans at once. And now it's like one by one, there's a group that's kind of dying off. So I don't know, what do you make of this shift that our former employer seems to be doing at this point? And that's not to say that any of us were irreplaceable. We know how the business works.
Yeah.
But yet there's a part of me that looks at it like, wow, it feels like something's disappearing, but I'm not sure if I'm articulate enough to say what is disappearing. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'll be honest. I don't have well-crafted thoughts on it because, I mean, I don't pay attention. I know Dan is leaving.
Right.
And we love Dan. Dan was one of those people who gave me a lifeline while I was still there and allowed me to have fun with him and his father. Some of the best television I've ever done. You told me I would love it. You were like, yo, you're going to love. Dan Le Batard is a star. And I don't mean that in a complimentary sense. Well, yeah, that too. I mean that in the scientific sense. He is a star around which anybody who orbits him, anybody who's in his orbit, anybody who is in his galaxy receives life and receives energy and is shined upon. I can't say enough about him. So just to be in that orbit just for a minute was fun. But so Jamel, going back to just like how deep it got for me, post Sports Center, didn't watch sports at all. Because the biggest thing that was taken was my routine. Because like, how do you go from, and as committed as you are to your craft, I think you would agree that I was kind of like obsessed with the shit.
Oh, like 1,000%. That's an easy admission, and it is.
It's not that I worked harder; is that you worked smarter.
It's the way you
worked smarter.
but it's also the way you're built too. Is that like you were you watched everything.
Maniacal.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. And like just details that I shouldn't have been worried about, and I'm falling into those habits now. I'm brother from another, but it's just who I am. But it's like, so how do you go from producing and executing a daily show from 2011 to 2018, and then all of a sudden you're not?
Right. And 11 was when Numbers Never Lied, for people listening, first started.
Yes. Yeah. 5 days a week, year round, my show, then our show, and then nothing. Like, so how do you process it? What do you do then? Like, okay, I'm used to getting up in the morning and figuring out what I'm gonna say on television. I'm used to going to bed at night and thinking about what I said or what we could have done better and thinking about the next day. I could not watch sports as a fan. Because you want to talk about triggers. How the fuck do I watch the NFL draft? You know that's my shit. How do I watch the NFL draft and not think about the fact that I'm not talking about the draft?
That I think about what the topic will be, right?
Yes, and then not just what the topic, but not just what the topic would be, but the why as to why the topic isn't. So now I'm going back down that rabbit hole of all the shit that just transpired. Like I'm literally haunted. Because if I turn on the NBA Finals circa 2018, I'm like, okay, that should be us. That should be me. I had to divorce myself from sports, especially ESPN, but sports altogether. So I say all that to say, I don't pay attention to the inner workings of ESPN. I keep in touch with some people. I don't pay attention to a lot of headlines. I just don't give them a lot of thought. I don't give them any less thought than they're giving me or you at this point. Well, not necessarily you, but me at this point. And so I haven't really thought about it from that lens. I know that there are still a lot of friends of ours and talented people and good people who are down for the cause, who are still fighting a good fight there. It does feel like bit of a change in the guard, I guess, if from the skipper people to the current administration people. So yeah, there's something to be said for that. I just hope that more and more people just realize their value. And ESPN is an amazing platform. I mean, I not only, and I'm not just saying this to be politically correct, not only did I make a great living working there, but let's face it, I'm able to do what I'm doing or trying to do now because of the reputation that I built on their platform. So, and that goes for a lot of people. And so, but I do hope, but the converse of that is that sometimes when you're in that Bristol bubble that I referenced, you know this, you can lose sight of who you are and what you bring to the table, and just how dynamic you are independent of the network. So I just hope that everybody either there or that's on their way out or that's left the way I have. To quote one of my favorite artists, Eddie Vedder, I see things clearer now that ESPN's in my rearview mirror. You know, and I
still quoting Pearl Jam.
Always. So I just really hope that that's the case for a lot of people. You know, and so even for Dan, I mean, look, Dan, what else? Dan, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm just out of control with these quotes. Catwoman told Batman, "You've given this people everything. You don't owe them anymore." Dan Le Batard gave ESPN a lot, and vice versa. So Dan, Godspeed. You know what I mean? Carrie is her best self. You and Carrie are doing amazing stuff together. Carrie's in a better place than she ever could have imagined if she'd have stayed at ESPN. So I guess I look at it as like whatever their rationale is for their personnel decisions, none of us should take those personnel decisions personally. And we got to realize like that we are something independent of what our paycheck stub says at the time. So I'm that's not an exact answer to your question, because I just don't think about them. You know, I try not to think about them.
So I have a ton of fun questions I want to ask.
Can I ask you a favor? Can I ask you a favor?
Uh-huh.
Because I don't know, I'm good for time. I don't know what your time situation is.
I have 18 minutes. Don't worry, I'm gonna get it in.
No, because I was gonna say, like, I don't want to be presumptuous, you know. And I know that I made, you know, the 5 people who've been asking about me, and I made y'all wait a while to do this. But a motherfucker want to know if we could do this again. So I'm like, yo, like we don't cover everything, because I got a shit ton of questions for you. Okay,
I mean,
So it's like I think we should run this back, like sometime soon. Like, I don't know how you're gonna divvy up this podcast, but like, I mean, like another visit, because I got so much that I don't know that we're gonna be able to get to in this conversation that I had ready to ask you.
Well, that, like, you know what? Here's the beauty of it. We both have shows. We'd be happy to make an appearance on Brother from Another.
No. I'm talking about this. Okay. I want to do this again. Okay. This same conversation, the same format again. But I'm afraid that we're not gonna cover everything in the time we have left, and there's so much more for us to do.
Of course, it's a wide open door. But I'm gonna get to these fun questions, because I know that there are certain things that we need to cover. And
because if anybody's gonna come on your podcast and interview you, it was gonna be me.
It was gonna be you, 100%. Yeah. I did expect that. So so yeah, there is a slew of fun things. But I'm gonna ask you, you know, in our rehashing, a question I get asked often. I'll tell you my answer, but I'm gonna make you go first.
All right.
Will we ever work together again?
I mean, will or would I? That remains to be seen.
Yes. Would you? Yeah. Would you work with me again? Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same way. However,
but could I ask you a question? Could I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess. Could I say no? I'd have to have a hell of a fucking explanation to be like, nah.
No, you can say no, because
no. But I mean, that would be honest as fuck. Like if the real answer was no, it'd be kind of awesome if I'd been like, no. Look, I mean, But I will say, okay, I'll say this. I will amend that answer and say, would I work with you again? Yes. But I would like to work with you again in a completely different way than what we did. A lot of people, let's be specific. A lot of people have asked, would we do a show together again? I don't think I would want to do that because I feel like we would be chasing something and trying to pick up where we left off and do something different, do something like we used to do, get that old thing back. Shout out to H-Town. We'd be trying to do that again. And if I would rather do something bigger, because you and I are on some other shit right now. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to create shit. We're trying to create a platform for other people. We're trying to tell stories. We're trying to own shit. You understand what I'm saying? So on some mogul shit, I'll work with you again. But I don't think I would want to do the talent thing with you again.
So I'm glad you said that, because that was literally going to be my answer. Is like, I think we've actually outgrown his and hers.
Yeah.
We have outgrown that. And
yeah.
We're both in two different places. We're both business owners, entrepreneurs. We're employing people. And this is not about our own individual egos. Now, if somebody offered us an absurd amount of money, and by the way,
I got a price. Everybody, I got a price.
Exactly.
I got a price. Oh yeah, absolutely, 100%, 100%.
Right? But I feel like where we are, where our mentality is, that what we would require to even do a TV show would be so much what people would probably possibly imagine because of what we have been through. And we already know what it looks like. It's a phrase used to use all the time. So I don't think that situation, or frankly, that price tag exists. But in terms of
I agree.
Us on some collaboration with our companies, with putting out content, 1,000%, I could easily see that.